Hey guys, how's it going? This is Edgemeister, and today I'm here with a Halo 5 video. Today I'm going to talk about something that a lot of YouTubers have really wanted to talk a lot about, and this is about the state of Halo 5 Guardians. People like the Act Man and just other people doing odds and ends videos will talk about how Halo 5 is the least feature-packed Halo and just has the least to offer. The story is terrible and all this and that. And I wanted to just put my opinions on the thing since Halo 5 is now more than a year old. Coming into the game when I originally bought it, I knew about the monthly free updates that were going to be amazing. I was so excited for them. I went into the game thinking, okay, so we started out with the game from nothing here. This is just going to be like Minecraft, where it just becomes one of the most feature-packed games out there because we get new stuff every month. But the sad reality of the fact is, a year later, is the stuff that we got was stuff that we had before on launch in other Halo games. Let's look at the current lineup of game modes. We have Slayer and variants. That's Slayer, SWAT, Snipers, Free-for-all, Breakout. We have Capture the Flag. Only one kind of capture the flag. We don't have a neutral capture the flag, and we don't have a round-based capture the flag, one-sided. We have Assault, which, again, we don't have a neutral. Oh, we just neutral Assault. We don't have, a one-bomb Assault round-based variant. We have Infection, which is arguably one of the best infections we've had. I do feel like Reach's one was a bit better, but a huge improvement over Halo 4. And then we have the Territories ripoff, which I'm not even going to name. And that's about it. And at launch, we just had the Slayer variants, the Territories ripoff, and Capture the Flag. Now, our current lineup of game modes that we have, let's compare it to, say, Halo 2, where we had all of that, albeit we don't have Infection, but we also had the one-sided versions of those, and it just, it boggles my mind. We also had King of the Hill, which we still don't have, so it's about equal with Halo 2 at launch. I can't remember if we had any more game modes. I'm pretty sure we might have had some more game modes in Halo 2, I'm not quite certain. I know we had better playlists. Halo 3, let's compare it. We had all the features we had in Halo 5 right now, plus we had more. Again, King of the Hill and stuff. And then let's look at Halo Reach. We had all of that plus other fan favorite game modes like VIP and Headhunter. Just kidding. People have basically forgotten about that. But we also had Invasion, which is huge. And yeah, we had basically everything Halo 5 has right now, plus more, in just about every Halo game. I mean, we're still waiting for a race. It's been over a year, and it's been confirmed that they've been working on it, so I don't know how long it takes to make a race game type. All I can say is Halo 4, the community made a modded race game type. They figured out how to mod the game, how to make game types, and make a race game type before 343 Industries did. And I almost feel like that's going to be the same thing with Halo 5. It's just going to take a bit longer to hack into the game. I mean, they're already starting to on PC, so it's only a matter of time before they somehow make a game type on there and put it on a file share for Halo 5. But let's also look at more at the features. Let's look at the file share, which right now I'd say is a lot better in Halo 5 than in any other Halo game. I'll have to give them that. But how long did it take them to do that? It took them until fall, almost a year after the launch, to get that in. Whereas Halo 3 and Halo Reach had it in instantly. Yes, Halo 4 messed up a bit as well on that. And let's talk about new game types. Like I said, all we've gotten from these updates were stuff from past Halo games. Let's look at Halo 4, a Halo game that is generally regarded as the worst Halo game. we had King of the Hill, we had Slayer, we had Infection, albeit Flood, a worse version of Infection because you couldn't change what the Flood had as weapons. You had red, you had Oddball, Griffball. Actually, I don't know if you had Oddball. You had Assault though. Yeah, you had all that stuff, but you actually had some new game modes. They came out with Regicide and Extraction. And Regicide is, I think it's the most underrated game type in Halo 4. And I feel like if it was in any other Halo, it would have been much more popular. Because I actually really enjoyed Regicide. And then they came out with Ricochet. And that's technically in 5 as well, I guess you could say. Again, that's something you have to mess with game type settings to make. But Ricochet was also a very fun game mode. Halo, it went to Halo 2 Anniversary as well, and it was fun in there. Ricochet is also a very underrated game mode. And yeah, so overall in terms of game types and game modes and stuff, even Halo 4 beat over Halo 5. And that's really saying something, because like I said before, Halo 4 is regarded as one of the worst Halo games. It's 343's first attempt. You can forgive them, but when they do something better than this, it's like you feel like they learned from their mistakes a little bit, but they made even bigger mistakes that they fixed at the game before. And it's angering that all of us are so excited about having so much new game types and stuff, and they come and they bring Fiesta in as game type. Fiesta is a Slayer variant, and they brought it in as a new game type. No, Fiesta is not a game type. Okay, Super Fiesta. Yes, I can say that's a new game type, because that is actually interesting. But we don't get to use Super Fiesta. Actually, I think we do now. At first, we didn't get to use it, and that didn't really come as a... They didn't advertise that as new game mode. That just kind of came. Yeah, so... In terms of, game mode features, Halo 5 is still disappointing. It has right now what it should have had at launch. So if it had this at launch and they came out with new game modes at the same pace as they've been coming out with them currently, then I think Halo 5 would be a huge feature-packed Halo multiplayer. That would be amazing. Now let's talk about the actual gameplay of the multiplayer. I'm going to talk about single player and Warzone in a bit. The gameplay, it's actually pretty solid. I enjoyed Halo 5 multiplayer for a very long time. And a lot of people fight it. They say it's not what Halo needs. And I can, to a degree, agree with that. Because I do feel like they feel like it doesn't feel like a classic Halo game. When I think of Halo, I don't go straight to Halo 5. I think of Halo 3, Halo Reach, because that's around the time that I started playing. I think of a game that you can fire your weapon at all times. When you're in a vehicle, for the most part, if the vehicle can't fire, then fine. But when you're jumping, when you're using abilities, you can use your weapons. But now, you can't use your weapons while sprinting, you can't use your weapons while clambering, you can't use your weapons while ground pounding, you can't use your weapons while shoulder charging. And it just kind of breaks it a little bit, because you have a new element in there if you're coming out to a gunfight, are you ready for it? Whereas in other Halos, you're always ready for a firefight. So, that's kind of a small thing. Also, the maps are kind of upscaled to work with sprint, so it's kind of an illusion. Some maps aren't. Some maps work with sprint very well, but for the most part, lots of maps, look at Truth, and then look at Midship. Midship was much smaller, but they feel the same size because of sprint. So, I get the argument that you almost don't need sprint in Halo, because you just need to make a bit smaller maps, and then take out the sprint, and it should play the same, but you're always ready for game, firefights and stuff. But at the same time, you do kind of have to modernize the series. You have to make it relevant. Yes, they went kind of too far trying to make Halo modern with Halo 4 adding in loadouts and all that stuff that Call of Duty fans would be into, but Call of Duty fans are going to go buy Call of Duty. They're not going to switch to Halo because they have loadouts now. It's mostly just keeping players in that would switch over. It's like, okay, look, we have aim down sights now. We have sprint for a more of a modern game. So when people come in, also, new people who are just coming in new to shooters will see Halo and they'll say, oh, okay, so this is also a modern first-person shooter because it has aim down sights and all that stuff. It's realistic, and I hate the term realistic. That's a video in its own when it comes to video games, because you don't really want your video games to be too realistic because they're not that fun. But yeah, in a way, Halo 5 needed to be modernized. Maybe not to the extent that it is right now, but as much as people may hate it, it does need to be modernized. I mean, people can go back to Halo Reach and Halo 3 and say, see, this is fun. It is fun, but new players just aren't going to get into it. And a lot of older Halo fans, like the Act Man and stuff, I feel like they don't almost realize it. And yes, it could have been done differently. I 100% agree with that. But the way it's done right now, I think it's good enough. I think if they improve on it with Halo 6, I think they got something going for them. I trust 343 Industries in that aspect. It is an improvement over Halo 4. And it's honestly more Halo-like than armor abilities that were introduced in Reach by Bungie, because everyone starts off with them, so it is fair starts. So it's actually the first Halo game since Halo Reach that we've had fair starts, and it was Bungie that's actually stopped with the fair starts first. Not saying Reach is a bad game. I do like Reach, in some cases more than 5, but yeah. Now let's talk about the campaign. So I've already ragged on Halo 5 for its lack of features as in game types, and now I'm going to rag on it for the story, because unlike a lot of people, I really enjoyed Halo 4's story. I mean, a lot of people did like Halo 4's story. It was the better part of that game. But if you've talked to me before about it, you know I wish it ended on that. I was excited for Halo 5, but I feel like after knowing what Halo 5's story is, that I think for me, that's just, a fan fiction. Halo 5's story is just a really damn good fan fiction, fan-made campaign. That's Halo 5's campaign to me. It just doesn't feel like a Halo campaign. I mean, it does have some really cool new squad features, but it just doesn't feel like a Halo game. And what not a lot of people know is the squad features that they came out with in Halo 5. It's just updated versions of stuff that's been in Halo for a long time. Where if you actually look at an enemy in, say, Halo 3, and there's AI around, higher chance that they're going to target that enemy as well. Just to make it feel like, there's more action going around and to, put more control into the player. And what Halo 5 did is they just kind of, took that and they labeled it as a new feature, and I guess they did put some new features in it, so that part of it was really cool. But some of the environments, although being very well designed, they just didn't feel as sandboxy as Halo 1 and Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach, even Halo 4 did. I don't know, it just wasn't too great. And the story is horrible. Like I said, I wish it ended with Halo 4. Spoilers, Cortana dies. And what I was expecting with Halo 5 was to, go what was set up in Halo 4 and in Spartan Ops, meaning Halsey was, going to work with Jumadama, bad guy. Master Chief was going to go AWOL trying to find some way to resurrect Cortana. My friend had a cool theory that they were going to make a replacement Cortana and there'd be like troubles with them getting along because she wasn't the real Cortana, which would have been also way better. And we'd be facing the Didact again, or more of the Promethean stuff, but that wasn't the case. So let's see what they set up. Like I said, Halsey joining Jill Madama. First mission, last cutscene. Jill Madama dies, and Halsey comes back. And they act like her betraying the UNSC just never happened. Like, they literally act like that never happened. And again, I don't like using literally like that, because Leafy kind of ruined it, because he says literally and everything, like, oh, he literally ate a slice of pizza. No, Leafy, he metaphorically ate that slice of pizza. Boo! So I'm going to go ahead and make a part 2 to this video, because this is kind of be going on a bit longer than I thought it was going to be, so yeah, I'll post part 2 probably tomorrow, and then we'll see what goes on from there. Anyways, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and watch out for part 2. Part 2 ends on a bit of a happier note, because I talk about Forge, and Forge in Halo 5 is actually amazing, so I'll see you guys over there. Bye.